Hey there friends, welcome back. So we are getting ready to go on a family trip, and so we're going to prep up a bunch of things that we're going to be taking with us on this trip. I thought this would give you all some great inspiration for family gatherings, or maybe you're just having friends over for a big picnic, or maybe you're taking some food with you to a gathering, or you want some snack ideas, appetizers, even some meal ideas. That's what this video is about today. So we are getting ready tomorrow to leave to go to the beach with some family, and we're going to have access to a partial kitchen while we're there, and we're going to be able to make food on the grill and things like that. So let's jump right in and get started with our prep today. Okay, per usual, whenever I am trying to get a lot accomplished at once, I have my oven preheated and we're gonna get something in the oven right away. And then we're gonna start working on some grill friendly recipes. So the first thing that we are going to do is make up a snack mix or Chex Mix, whatever you like to call it. I have a daughter that is gluten sensitive, so we do a lot of gluten-free friendly things around here. So making our own snacks and making our own mix that has the ingredients that she can have is really enjoyable for her. If you've been around a long time, then you already know that I've made Chex Mix or party mix or snack mix quite a few times, but this time I'm going to be making a cheddar flavored one. I've never done that before. It was a request by my daughter, and I was able to find a recipe that I can tweak for us. We're gonna start off with 9 cups of corn cereal. We're gonna call it that because you can just use whatever you want. 4, 6, and there's just a little bit left in here, so we're just gonna empty the rest of the box in there. Okay, so we've made some modifications. Obviously, I'm not gonna be putting Cheez-Its in this or Goldfish, so I found some cheese flavored things that are gluten-free. We've got this one, it's a Pop something. I think this is new, I've never seen this before. And then these are just some almond flour cheddar crackers. So one of the things when it comes to mixes like this is you just want to pay attention to how many cups of each item there are, and then you can change out what you want to put in it. So say you wanted to replace the Goldfish with Cheerios. You would just do, instead of 2 cups of Goldfish, you would do 2 cups of Cheerios. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but as long as it's close, you'll have enough dressing for all of it. This particular recipe that will be linked below calls for 2 cups of pretzels. So I'm going to, again, roughly make 2 cups of pretzels. The last time I showed this in a video, you all were wondering where it's from, a little more info, so I'm just gonna tell you. So this is a butter melting pot, and it's very small. You can see it's about the size of my hand, or a mug, and it works great on the stove. The other thing that's super great about it is there's a thick bottom, so it doesn't burn. So this is 8 tablespoons of butter. I will try to remember to leave this linked below. And we're going to go ahead and use this cheddar powder. It is a popcorn seasoning, and you're gonna want about 2 tablespoons of this. This does have a few other ingredients in it, so I would prefer to find a more pure cheddar powder the next time I make this, but it's what I could get in my grocery pickup, so I decided to go ahead and do that. Instead of some of the other seasonings she has listed in this recipe, which will be linked below, I am gonna go ahead and just put a tablespoon of this buttery steak and chop seasoning. Then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of W sauce. And since this is pretty warm, it's gonna help dissolve some of it. I might get my little whisk. I have a mini whisk, but it seems to be dissolving pretty well. All right, so before I put the sauce in this, I'm actually going to mix the ingredients that we have in here. All right, friends, so we're gonna take a little coffee break from our prep today so that I can spill the tea about something that has quite literally changed my life. And no, I'm not just saying that. I promise it's not just cliche. I have extremely fine hair. And if you have fine hair, then you know the struggle is real whenever it comes to finding product that works well with your hair and isn't too heavy and doesn't weigh it down. The reason this is so life-changing to me is obviously you have to deal with doing something with your hair every day. And Kitsch has been the solution for me that I feel like I've been looking for my entire life. They are also the sponsor of today's video, and I am really thrilled to share with you what it's done for my hair. First of all, I need to say that I was the biggest skeptic of the idea of using bars for hair product. I just really thought, how could that work the same way? Wouldn't it be hard to put on my hair? All of those questions in my mind. And when I finally just broke through and decided to give it a try, I realized that a lot of the stuff that comes in the big bottles is loaded with things that are weighing my hair down and just really not even cleaning my hair properly. The Kitsch shampoo and conditioner bars come in a large variety to meet your needs, which is really great because we have different hair types in my house, and it's been great to find the bars that work best for each individual person. Plus, they have this great shower caddy that keeps your bars separated. So even if they change shape a little bit, as they will naturally, you know what is conditioner, what is shampoo. I love that concept. It keeps everything clean and tidy in my shower, and I'm able to just grab it as I need it. It's so easy to lather up in my hair. I was amazed at how well it lathers. I just didn't think it was gonna do that. And it's just so great how I can evenly distribute the product through my hair. The shampoo and conditioner bars are by far my personal favorite product. However, I've also found a few other products that I really, really love. My second favorite product is probably their heat protectant and styling spray. I just feel like it gives the right amount of moisture to my hair, again, without weighing it down, and I'm able to easily blow dry my hair, and it feels so soft and easy to style whenever I'm finished. My personal favorite set right now is the Rosemary and Biotin. It has added volume and just really made my hair super lightweight, along with just caring for it and moisturizing it as well.
Kitsch also ships to the US and internationally to over 90 countries.
I'm super excited to share with you that Kitsch has given me a discount code for you to be able to get the bars for $11 a piece or $21 for the set. You can use the link in the description box below or my code Adaline Zook to get 25% off your order. You can also scan the QR code here as well. Over the last little while, this is something that has just proven to work so well for me, and I know it's something I'm gonna keep using for a very long time.
Like I said, you can get creative. You could put nuts in this. You can go crazy. There's lots and lots of recipes on Pinterest for different combinations. The one we usually do has like a ranch seasoning in it. And so this is gonna be a fun little change up. And I can keep in mind that any popcorn seasoning can be used for this purpose. All right, so here we go with the cheddar sauce, if we want to call it that. And now we're gonna mix, mix, mix really well, get everything coated. This smells absolutely amazing. Go ahead, pick something to taste.
Where's the, can I try another one?
Yeah, you can try another. Maybe I should have made a bigger batch.
Everything's good.
As you heard, my daughter is thrilled with the results thus far, so I'm excited. I'm starting to question if I should have doubled or tripled this batch, but we will know for next time to definitely make a lot of this. And I'm going to just put some parchment paper for easy cleanup onto my baking tray here. My oven is preheated to 250, and we're gonna bake it for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, stirring every 15 minutes. About to lose my parchment paper. I did want to make note that these little crackers that I showed you, that I said I thought were new, are very close to the size of a goldfish and are kind of the same texture. So super great gluten-free alternative to goldfish. All right, we are gonna prep some stuff for the grill. Some of you might already know about this trick, But for those of you that don't, I'm gonna share a little piece of information that helps out when it comes to traveling. So we have a 1/2 cup of water, and we're also going to do, I'm sorry, a 1.5 cups of water, and we're gonna do a 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. And what you can do is create your marinades at home and put your meat into the marinades. And then if you're gonna be camping in particular, but if you're gonna be traveling with your food, as we are, it's really helpful to actually freeze your meat in the marinade, and then it stays nice and cold until you get to your destination, or maybe if you're going to use it a few days later, you keep it in the ice chest while you're camping, and you can get it out in enough time for it to thaw before you make it. So that is exactly what I'm doing here. So I have about 4 pounds of chicken thighs here. We're gonna make a vinegar-based marinade. I'm gonna pull you in a little closer so you can see the other things I'm putting into this. To our water and apple cider vinegar, we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of W sauce. The house is already smelling so good from that snack mix being in the oven. Next, we're gonna add in a 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And this is pretty much a brine is what we're making here. A tablespoon of black pepper, or a little less if your family doesn't like it to be too spiced. Now we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Might do a little extra since these do not have the skin on them or the extra fat in that aspect. And then we are going to use about 2 teaspoons of liquid smoke. Never ever get this in your mouth. It is the worst tasting thing I've ever tasted on accident by itself. So 2 teaspoons of liquid smoke. Now we're gonna whisk everything together well. You could heat this on the stovetop if you wanted to, but because these are gonna have plenty of time to sit in the brine, I'm not too worried about cooking it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my chicken in there. We'll stir things around just a bit before we dump this into a Ziploc bag. Taking things on a trip frozen is such a great hack for so many different things, whether it's baked goods or pre-made marinades and meats like this, because then you can decide on your trip when you want to thaw it out and you don't have to worry about things going bad. It's just so, so helpful. I'm hoping that this all fits well in here and I don't end up with a mess. If I do, you all see it right here on camera. Oh, we lost 1 piece of chicken. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put this right into my freezer, and that way it's nice and frozen tomorrow by the time we want to leave. Giving the snack mix a quick stir, and then I'm going to pop it right back in the oven. Usually you can kind of see that the top layer is a little toasted. There's some browning happening. By the way, this is something else you can put in the freezer if you want to make it way ahead of time. It freezes very well and stays very fresh that way. This past year, we made a discovery that has become a family favorite, and that is making sweet chili chicken. And we usually used chicken tenders to do it. It is so delicious. And I actually discovered this sugar-free sweet chili sauce. That's usually one of the big things that gives me a drawback to using chili sauce, is that it's very, very, very loaded with sugar. And so I found this low sugar option, which I'm all about. We are using about 1.5 cups of the chili sauce, and anything that's left over, I'm going to take along with us to drizzle on the chicken whenever it's done. I'm gonna put in a couple dashes of sesame oil, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, and or you can use coconut aminos, which is my preferred alternative to soy sauce. We're gonna juice 2 limes, and you may want a few extra for garnish after you take the chicken off of the grill. Whenever I do recipes, I almost always use fresh juiced citrus. I just prefer that over the bottled, and I just feel like the flavor is so much better. We're gonna dump the lime juice in, and then we're going to add 3 teaspoons of ground ginger and 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Now, if you want to kick up the heat a bit on this, you can easily add in some sriracha or red chili flakes to make it even spicier. It is a little on the spicy side to begin with, but we personally do like things a bit spicier. Or when you're done grilling, you can drizzle it with sriracha, which is probably what I will do, is make sure that we have our bottle of sriracha with us, just to top it off with that. And again, I'm just going to pour this into a freezer bag to go along with us. And oh, this smells so delicious. You could serve this over rice or with stir-fried veggies. Our snack mix is out and cooling, and now we're gonna move on to some cold salads before we start doing some baking a little later. So we are going to make a berry salad. I am really excited about this. It's been a long time since I've made something like this. So I have some strawberries here. We're just gonna cut them into bite-sized pieces, about the size of a blueberry or raspberry, since that's what else is in this salad. Summertime is the perfect time to be making things with berries since they are in season, and for us, these grow locally. And our chickens will love the tops of these strawberries. They can turn them into eggs for us. Once you have your strawberries all cut up, you can just add everything together. Then we're just going to toss the berries very gently. Obviously, berries are a tender fruit and we want to be careful. Doesn't that just look delicious? Next, we're gonna make up a cream sauce of sorts to put on this. And this is going to be a low sugar version. I'm going to use the monk fruit sweetener I like to use in place of sugar, but you could totally use any type of sweetener or sugar that you want to. So I have 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese that I have been getting softened by leaving them on the counter for a while. If you soften the cream cheese ahead of time, you can get away with mixing this up with a whisk instead of getting out your mixer. The second block of cream cheese in. Now we're gonna put a cup of heavy whipping cream in here. You could also try this out with dairy-free versions of all of this. So you could use the heavy cream from coconuts and also a dairy-free cream cheese. We're gonna do a liberal splash of vanilla. And I'm going to start out with a half cup of my 1-for-1 sweetener. It's a monk fruit sweetener, like I said. I can leave it linked below if you guys are interested, or let me know in the comments. I'm going to start with a half cup of that and then taste it, see if I need to add any more to it. So we're just going to take a whisk, and should have probably shown you before I started. I have what we call a curly whisk. And I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it's all whisked smoothly. So I take that back. It is not coming out as smooth as I had hoped, so I'm going to use my immersion blender. Now we're just going to add the cream into the berries. And you want to gently fold the cream in, and again, just being really tender with those berries, because otherwise they will get very smashed in the middle of all this. Then I will just be putting this into a container in the refrigerator to put in our ice chest. That berry salad is going to be so refreshing for the beach, and obviously any other spring or summer day, going to the pool. It is just delicious. It's one of our favorites for sure. And now we're gonna make another really refreshing cold salad. We're going to make a cucumber salad. I'm slicing these English cucumbers, or I think some people call them burpless cucumbers, very, very thin. You want 2 of them. Honestly, a lot of times they're a little bigger than this, but this is what my store had. And then we will make the dressing that goes along with it. This recipe calls for purple onion, and you get to decide how much you put in. Personally, I don't like to overkill with the purple onion, so I'm actually gonna go with about 1/4 of this size onion and just trimming all of the extras off, including the outside skin. And then I'm going to very thinly slice this to go into this salad. Now, you can use dried dill if you want to, but personally, I love dill. It is one of my favorite flavors, so using fresh is always my choice when I can. Before we put our veggies into the bowl, I'm going to go ahead and make the dressing. So we want 1/3 cup of white vinegar. You're going to want 2 tablespoons of sugar, or in my case, I'm using my monk fruit alternative, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now I'm just gonna kind of mix this all together, especially making sure that that sweetener or the sugar is beginning to dissolve. Now we're just gonna add our veggies right in. So we've got our dill, the onion, which you can try to break up as you're putting it in, and the cucumber. You're just going to toss everything together, and if you had a big crowd of people, you could obviously double or triple this for sure. I'm gonna put this into a container and it will go into the cooler. Now this is definitely one of those salads that is better made the day before and then allowed to sit in the cooler, the refrigerator, in its dressing. It definitely amplifies all of the flavors and just makes it taste better. Okay, took a quick dishes break and we are ready to head into some baking for this trip. And I don't know what says summer baked good more than s'mores bars. So we are going to make a really good s'mores bar, and I will leave the link for this version, which is gluten-free, and a regular version below in the description box. So the first thing that I did was took some gluten-free graham crackers and crushed them up. So I'm gonna put them into this bowl here, and we are going to put all of our dry ingredients into one bowl, mixing that together first before we add it into the mixing bowl. So along with the crushed graham crackers, we have gluten-free all-purpose flour, we have brown sugar, and regular sugar. We have a teaspoon of baking powder, and I am doubling the recipe that will be linked below, and a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to use my mixer attachment to make sure that the dry ingredients are combined. And I almost forgot to add this in, but there is also a bit of cornstarch in this as well. I really love to source my non-GMO cornstarch from Azure Standard, and you can get a lot from them. It lasts you a long time. In the mixer, we're going to put our butter. There is 2 egg yolks in this and 2 regular eggs. Also 2 good splashes of vanilla. Once your butter is creamed well, you can go ahead and add in your dry ingredients. Okay, I lined the bottom of this pan. I also had sprayed it with some avocado oil spray, just to be sure that we can get these out really well. There's my oven heating up. That's just what the recipe calls for. So we're going to put about 1/3 of the dough into the bottom. I'm not going to call it a crust because these are not really crusty. They're more of a cookie bar. And we're going to just press it evenly into the bottom of the pan. It smells so good. It smells like graham crackers. Next, we're going to take some marshmallow fluff and layer that in. We'll see how this goes. I know heating up your spoon sometimes helps to layer this in. I'm just going to run my spoon under hot water. There, see how much easier it is to spread with the spoon heated up. Then I got these Enjoy Life Mega Chunks. These are the ones that are very allergen friendly. We're just going to evenly sprinkle this across here. Of course, it's going to melt all together while it bakes. One of the reasons I think that the parchment paper is super helpful with this, is just because the marshmallow fluff can get a bit sticky. Okay, so now we're just going to take kind of chunks of the dough and press it in, letting some of the marshmallow kind of poke through in different areas, leaving cracks for you to see the marshmallow and the chocolate. One other alteration I made to this recipe was it called for cinnamon, and I just have a feeling my husband in particular will not like the cinnamon flavor in this flavor combination. He likes cinnamon in cinnamon rolls, but not in everything, and so I decided to go ahead and omit that from the recipe. Filling in some cracks. Now I'm just gonna take and press everything together so it bakes together well. Now we're gonna put this right into the oven. Okay, friends, so if you've been around here for a while, you know that my mom has a famous chocolate chip cookie recipe that I have shared with you all, and I will be sure to leave that in the description box of this video. However, I've been on the hunt for a gluten-free version of that cookie, and I think I found the recipe. I have not tried this out before, but I'm gonna trust the blogger that I got the recipe off of. Of course, that will be linked below as well. We're gonna mix up some cookies that are very similar. So let's see if we can make one of the best chocolate chip cookies ever remade into gluten-free. Let's mix everything together and we will do a test taste after they bake. All right, there's a little bit of bits in here from the S'mores bars, but you know what? It's okay. It's all vanilla-based flavoring. So we are going to double this recipe because I have faith in this recipe that it's going to be good. And we're going to put 4 sticks of butter into the mixer. It would obviously be 2 if it was a single batch. To this, I'm adding 4 eggs, a half cup of granulated sugar, a cup and a half of brown sugar, 2 good splashes of vanilla extract, and we're going to cream all of this together. We've got 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. This is the ingredient that makes my mom's cookies so good, and that is vanilla pudding. And this is just by Jello brand. It's not vanilla Jello. It's actually a pudding mix. So since we're doubling this, it takes 2 packs. All right, now we're ready to add in the flour. And again, because we're doubling this, it's gonna take a more flour than if you were doing 1 batch. So I need 4.5 cups for a double batch. 3. Now before the flour is fully mixed in, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my chocolate chunks. Again, using the same thing I showed you before. You could use chocolate chips as well, but I just thought it would be fun to do chocolate chunks. I mean, it is vacation after all. The reason I'm doing it before all the flour is mixed in is it will coat the chocolate chunks and help them to disperse through the cookies a bit better and not sink to the bottom of the cookie. I'm gonna be honest, it smells just like my mom's cookie dough. Because cookies that include the pudding mix are by nature more soft, I decided to go ahead and line the sheets. I don't usually do that with my mom's recipe, but between the fact that this is gluten-free flour, which can cause things to be a bit more soft, and the pudding mix, I decided might be better, might be a little easier to get them off the tray if they're lined. All right, so I'm going to give one a try. I've let them sit for a little bit just because they can be softer. Oh, it's a little, they're warm. I would say the closest thing to the original cookies. I've tried other recipes, and these are definitely the best thus far. Obviously, they're not exactly the same, just because they don't have that flour taste to them. But I think this is the closest I will ever get. And what a reward after a long afternoon of all this prepping. There, the first bite I had a lot of chocolate in it, so that's why I was struggling to taste the cookie dough. But that bite, yes, I would say very hands down, we'll be remaking these as a gluten-free option to those cookies. Super, super good. So I'm really happy with how the s'mores bars turned out as well. I feel like they are gonna go into my permanent recipe book for sure. And it's been a really good day. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Let me know in the comments what you're up to, or maybe an event that you're making food for. And I'm so happy with what I got accomplished. I know we're gonna have quite a few dozen of these cookies to take with us, along with the bars and the marinades and all the goodies we got going on. Don't forget to give this video a like. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to check out Kitsch in the description box below. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.